Wanted to start today talking about this right here. You ever see that? If you're a person of color that's been walking through let's say a grocery store, in a town that you're not normally in, maybe a primarily white town, you've probably seen this quite often. You know, just that way too chipper smile. Yeah, probably most of the time it's just a socially awkward person who accidentally made eye contact and has no idea how to deal with others. But, you know, sometimes it is exactly what you think it is. Sometimes it's a white person who sees a person of color and is just desperate to communicate to them, I'm not with these Klan members. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's certainly not good to remind somebody at every opportunity that they're of a different tone, literal skin tone than you. It's not a good thing. But I'm here to speak in defense of that person, of the awkward smiler. I'm here to give you, as a regular awkward smiler, I'm here to give you the breakdown on the mentality of that. If you're a person of color and this happens to you, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, let me assure you, as somebody who has done it for both reasons, usually, even when it's a person of color, usually I'm doing that awkward smile simply because I'm an awkward human being. And it's just that I've made eye contact with another human being, and I got this mug as a standard. I don't want him to think I'm scowling at him, and I overcompensate. But truth be told, sometimes it's because I've just watched a couple of news items like we're going to deal with today, and my heart is broken. And I just so badly, so badly want to find some way to communicate to this other person that I'm not with the bad guys. I'm like a regular guy that doesn't want to see people get killed over their skin tone. So, what can you do about that? First of all, imagine for a moment that the situations were reversed and your community had a slight majority in the country, and for some reason, I say your community as though these other honkies are my community, but people who arbitrarily look like you are doing crimes is my point. Really awful, despicable crimes. How would you react if you came across the people who are normally the victims of those crimes? And in this case, yeah, all black people are the victims when one black person is gunned down and nothing's done about it. Because they're being told that their lives matter less. They got to carry that weight every day. And I acknowledge it doesn't help, actually. Doesn't help. When a random white person seems to notice their skin and does one of these. Doesn't help. But it's like a hiccup. It's like accidentally looking at cleavage. It's like it's a social faux pas that is not intended to it's not something I think that we normally are trying to do. It just happens. to give you a sense of what I'm talking about, here is some random doofus encountering a new horror that he was ignorant of. Imagine for a moment that you're. Imagine for a moment that you are in a community that people go out of their way to keep ignorant because this community needs to be ignorant for a corrupt system to work. And slowly but surely, you're waking up. One thing that is rarely talked about is how often that results in a horrific realization. Here's an example of that realization being had in real time. It's a clip I found from a live stream that was on the internet, a small channel, and it's a well-meaning honky being told that a situation that was already way worse than he once thought is actually even worse than he realized. Thank you for that. Wireless Mike, there were other towns that were destroyed back in the 20s, Jake. Black communities were targeted back in the day. That's deeply, deeply sad. And I'm going to hit the bottle something fierce this weekend. While I Google that and look into the reality. Well, tell you what, folks. That was yesterday's stream. My point is, we all have to carry that weight. Everybody on the side of the angels, everybody who's a decent human being, has to carry that weight. Obviously, the victims of these crimes have to carry more of it. But when this happens, because I suspect it's going to, if you're a person of color, I'm trying to prepare you, I suspect you're going to get a lot of that smile. When it happens in the coming days, remember that this is somebody who is on your side. They might not be doing a great job, but that's just because they don't know how. What I would recommend you do, give them a big old smile right back. Just acknowledge to them that you see them trying to be a good person. Even if they're awkward, even if they've just annoyed you by doing that. Or if it really does bother you, you can pull them aside and explain to them why it bothers you. And I bet you they're going to be eager to learn. Because that smile happens when you're desperate to do something and you don't know what to do. So you pour in as much friendliness as you can to try to tell this new person you've come across that they're welcome in your company. And should things go down, you're on their side, not on the side of the racists. No, white people don't deserve special sympathy. No. Racists of any stripes, and no, of course, not all white people are racist, but racists don't deserve special sympathy. However, as we are building allies, I just want to put it out there that an imperfect ally is still an ally. And because you're very much in the right. Of course, you have a right to exist. And because you're in the right, you're going to have the majority of people on your side. And so you're going to have a lot of imperfect allies because most people are imperfect. Take it as a good sign. An annoying sign, like having pains in your muscles the day after working out, but a good sign. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say.